All right, everybody, welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. We're talking about Monarch, Flesh and Blood again. Monarch, I have a crazy theory on Monarch Unlimited. I have a crazy theory about Monarch based upon a Monarch Unlimited, and it's going to be crazy. We got my tinfoil hat here because I want you all to know that I think it's crazy, but there is some, and here we go. I'm going to reveal to you the first big thing. There is some print run questions that I have for Monarch Unlimited that I believe, and basically I was having a conversation today. I'll talk about something. There are some crazy people in the Flesh and Blood world who believe some crazy things, and often I get messages saying, "Hey, don't tell anybody this, but this is something blah 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 blah." And I usually listen to them and respect them, and I appreciate what they're sharing with me. But usually I do not share it with you because it's just kind of crazy and out there in left field. But this current thing that we are talking about comes from, in my opinion, somebody that I trust, somebody that I think, actually it's multiple sources based on the conversations that I've had with a couple of different people who deal with distributors. And what I'm hearing is that, and this is all hearsay, this is all rumors, there's obviously no hard numbers yet, so take that what it is. But what I'm hearing is that there is a huge print run for Monarch Unlimited. We are not talking about first edition right now. First edition Monarch, you want to know how much you should pre-order for? I'm done talking about it. I've said my pieces. Right now, we are talking about Monarch Unlimited, and based on a huge print run, I have a theory. Actually, it's not just my theory. It was a theory that I talked to somebody about, and I'm going to respond in my mind to that theory, but I'm going to share with that theory as well. So let's take a quick look at a couple things. Let me refresh your brain on Monarch. Here's the kind of the announcement page, right? We've got obviously themes of light and dark. What we know about it is there's 307 cards in the set. That's going to be important here in a couple minutes. We know that there's a lot of things about light and dark. They tell us, there's 6 legendaries. That's kind of an interesting number. And then somewhere here it says that there are, right here is the other thing. We've got designed for constructed, booster draft, and sealed deck. That's going to be an important thing to remember, that it is kind of constructed for booster draft. And then there's somewhere else here that it says that there are 4 new heroes. And I don't remember exactly where that is, but just trust me that it said that. It says 4 new heroes, and that they're that the new mechanics. It doesn't say a number of mechanics, but it says new mechanics that will highlight the balance between light and dark. It's somewhere on this page. I just can't find it right here in this second. Introducing 4 new heroes with all new mechanics to play out the classic conflict of light versus shadow across sealed deck, booster draft, and constructed formats. So that's what we know. Okay, so now we want to take everything we know and we're going to put it into this idea that why is there a huge print run? All right, here we go. So what I've been told, or what the theory, I'm moving these things. Here we go. Bad quality here. What I've been told, and what I've been, but what the theory is that I'm basing this off is that there's a huge print run of Monarch Unlimited coming that is bigger than both of the WTR Unlimited print runs. So a massive amount of boxes being printed, really like a huge amount. Like we've still seen WTR Unlimited, we've still seen those prices being appropriate. They're a little high right now, right? They're not at the $80 that we all wish they were, but $100, whatever it is. There's been a plenty of that printed. Now, don't get me wrong, we wish we had more. There definitely needs to be more. But there is in one wave, the rumor is bigger than both WTR and Unlimited print runs. So it's seemingly that there's a lot of product. And the kind of basis for my tinfoil hat today, the basis is the answer to this. Why? Why would they come out and make a huge print run of Monarch Unlimited? There has to be a reason, right? And I know right now you're like, Louie, get rid of your tinfoil hat, because the reason is obviously easy to understand, okay? You're like, it's really easy to understand. There are more players. Okay, the easiest answer to understand, the easiest reason for this, the most basic common sense reason for the answer to this, why would they make the Unlimited print run, the first print run of Unlimited, why would they make it so big? Why would they make it twice, really big, twice, that's just kind of a random number, but that's what the people were talking to me about. Why would it be twice the print? Well, the easiest answer is that there are more players, right? Like that the game has grown. WTR Unlimited sold really well. They were worried about will it sell. They were worried about how players would react to Unlimited. And what we've basically said is that we want more Unlimited. We want to be able to draft, right? We want to be able to open packs. We want to be able to do booster box wars and do box wars and do box breaks. And, that's fun. And what we've also seen is that first edition has issues. So maybe Legend Story Studios was like, all right, we don't want to print a ton more first edition. We want to keep that really high value for collectors or whatever. So we're going to print a ton of Monarch Unlimited to make sure that the players have the cards that they want. And then obviously we have a huge expectation for Monarch, right? Like everybody has a huge expectation. We're all calling it like the set that's going to make or break Flesh and Blood. So maybe the answer to this why do we have a bigger Unlimited print run is simply that they want to make sure it doesn't fail, right? Make sure that the players can get cards and make sure that we all have what we need. Okay, now that's all true, but I've got a tinfoil hat on. I think something bigger, and I don't know that I necessarily think it. The person, people, whatever that I'm talking to had an idea, and I want to talk about because I think it's a valid statement of why the WTR Unlimited print run, or why the print run is going to be so much bigger. So now we're in crazy theory town. I am not claiming that this is correct. This is crazy theory town based upon what somebody else told me and based upon something I kind of am going to elaborate and make up my own crazy theory based on what they said. So this is crazy theory town based on them saying the game changing mechanic. Remember kind of Rudy, and I think it was Rudy in his video from Alpha Investments kind of said that James White from Legend Story Studio kind of said that there was going to be a game-changing mechanic that was going to kind of complete the game of Flesh and Blood, and that we hadn't seen the full game of Flesh and Blood. All right, game-changing mechanic, crazy theory town. Why is there going to be a huge print run? The answer to that is that this game-changing mechanic, the theory that this person put out was that this game-changing mechanic was generic focus. In other words, that this game-changing mechanic was going to radically change the way that the game's played at a generic level and so forth. We need a huge print run because everyone's going to need the cards. Everyone's going to want the cards. The game is going to require the cards to be played. Okay, so that's the theory. Okay, that's the main kind of the gist that I got. The theory train that I was given to me is that this answer to this game changing mechanic is that it's not just like a new class. It's not 4 new classes or whatever. This is all theories. This was not anybody who has connection to Legend Story Studios. This was this person's theory to why would they make a huge print run. It's not just 4 new classes or whatever you want to do. It's actually something that's going to affect all the classes, and such players are going to almost need the cards in order to play. So that's a good enough thing for yourself. But I went ahead and I'm going to elaborate, and I'm going to try to guess what this game-changing mechanic is. Okay, so here is Louis' game-changing mechanic theory. Okay, so based on all this and the huge print run and what these people said, this is Louis' game-changing mechanic theory. I just want to be on the record for what I think it could be, because if I get it right, then it's going to make me look really good. And if I don't get it right, you're not going to really remember it anyway, and it doesn't really matter because it's all just theory and guess, and it's fun to talk about. So let's talk about what I think could be this game-changing mechanic that is generic focus and causing a huge print run for Monarch Unlimited. All right, first off, let's talk about this idea that there are 4 new heroes. Okay, so here's what I think we naturally go to with the 4 new heroes is thinking 4 new classes. And I'm going to go ahead and say that I don't believe that that's going to happen. I'm going to throw it out there. I've said it before. I think we're going to get 4 new classes. But to create this theory in my brain, for this theory to work, that can't be true. Okay? So for this theory only, I'm saying 4 new heroes is not meaning 4 new classes. We know, and we've been told that there will be 4 new heroes. I think naturally what we go to is that those 4 new heroes will support the draft. And I don't believe that the draft support, remember that was important, that Monarch is going to be draftable. That's a super important thing for guessing on theories on what's in here. So the theory that Monarch's going to be draftable, I don't think applies to the 4 new heroes. In other words, I think that we will see all the other heroes that we're used to, Dorinthia and Kesu and Viserai and all those heroes, all the heroes from ARC, all the heroes from WTR, I think are going to be the draft support. I don't think that the 4 new heroes are there to support the draft. I don't think that. Instead, I think that these 4, and we'll talk about draft support when we get over here. There's something under here if you didn't capture that. All right, so then let's talk about what are these 4 new heroes. I think one of the legendaries is going to be one of the heroes, right? We saw this in Crucible of War with Cheyenne. People really liked it. We responded really well to it. It's really cool. It makes you feel like you got something really special. I think one of those heroes is going to be a legendary. And I would even say, hypothetically, okay, 2 of those heroes could be a legendary, and you could get these 2 heroes that we saw in the photo. You could get these 2 heroes as legendaries. That would be pretty cool. And they could be, just like Cheyenne is, right? Like Cheyenne feels super powerful, but she's not quite that powerful. She's not like meta. So they could do the same thing where it's like cool, really fun cards to play legendaries that are heroes, but that aren't game breaking. So, that could be cool. So let's talk about that. So one of them I think at least is going to be a legendary, and then the other 3 I think are just going to be rares, kind of like you saw with Cavdane, who was a new one, and with a new class. You could even see new classes in these legendaries, right? Like you could see 2 totally new classes, but one that's like Cavdane, which is like the merchant class, which it doesn't really affect it that much, and one's like Kasai, like an old class, like a warrior with just a different, what I mean. So I think 3 of these will be kind of maybe a new class, maybe an old class, whatever. I think that could totally still be applicable. But I don't think the key here is I don't think that these 4 new heroes are there to help the draft. I think we're going to see all 8 classes. Okay, I think we're going to see all 8 classes in Flesh and Blood in Monarch. Okay, so let's talk about this. New mechanics to play out the light versus the shadow. That was what they said, that there were going to be new mechanics. There were going to be 4 new heroes and new mechanics to play out light versus shadow. So here's my crazy theory, everybody. I believe that this new mechanics to play out all the light versus shadow are going to utilize the 8 new classes into the 307 cards. Okay, so basically what they need to do, right? If you remember, like WTR was like around 200 and some cards. Arcane Rising was I think 208 cards. Crucible of War was 195 cards, right? So I believe that these 307 cards are going to support all 8 classes, just like Monarch did. Okay, sorry, just like Crucible of War did. But bring in new mechanics to play light versus shadow. Okay, that's really where I think we're going to be. So 307 cards that are going to add a light and a dark balance. Okay, so basically now you're playing, every deck that you're playing is going to want to balance this light versus dark. And here's a cool kind of thing that I think we might see. Your weapon deals damage equal to your devotion to shadow or to light. Something like that, right? Like, man, this tinfoil hat, it's kind of itchy. Now I'm getting really into it, though. So something like this where your weapon deals damage equal to your devotion. And we've seen this in Magic the Gathering. They have a devotion thing. But it's all play, it's all kind of what you play on the field. And I don't think that's going to be how this works. Don't get hung up on this word devotion if you're a Magic the Gathering player. What I'm really trying to say is that you would actually play things, right? Like you would play things just like you get rune chant tokens. You would play things that give you like a token for light, right? And you have multiple light notifiers, like multiple things. If you remember also there's a lot of tokens in this set. Let me see if I can pop it up. There's 18 tokens. And I said that that's a lot of tokens. But honestly, I don't remember how many tokens are in the other sets, but 18 tokens seems high to me. I should have done my research and known how many tokens, but that seems high. So I'm thinking like you have different ways of generating light and dark tokens, or some sort of light and dark token generation type thing that you might see. I think we could also see the rest of the money tokens here. But interesting. Anyway, let's get back to it. So you're generating tokens, or you're generating some sort of quote unquote devotion, something to track your devotion to light and to dark, and then things block like equal to your devotion to black. So, or sorry, I said black thinking like Magic the Gathering devotion again. Like, you have black and green and that's your devotion. But I'm talking like your devotion to shadow or to light. And then I think you can implicate all 8 classes. Like you could have, like if you look at the photo, right? Let's go back to the photo. If you look at this photo, you could see that's really zoomed in. Sorry, let me make this wider for you. If you look at this photo, you can really see like that all 8 of these classes could be. Oh, that's not even the photo. That's the issue. Let's see if we got the photo. We're gonna have to go back. All 8 of these classes could be in there. Let's go to the marketing assets. Monarch logo. That's not it. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. You've seen the photo. If you haven't seen the photo, you're crazy. Here you go. Monarch here. Like all of these classes could be here. Like you have people here with weapons, right? Like those could be warriors. Here's somebody, that looks like a warrior. We tend to think of warrior as like Dorinthia, but like there could be evil warriors that are, devoted to Shadow Realm or whatever. And the lore in this could be super cool, right? Like that something, I think there was something in Viserai's lore about opening up a gate that's maybe this guy or something like that. I don't remember all the details, but you could have warriors who are now connected to the Shadow Realm. You could have all sorts of things. Like I don't think that there's a limit on the classes. It may be the Guardian, right? Like there might be some, like obviously like maybe Guardian has to be connected to light, and maybe like Runeblade has to be connected to darkness. Maybe I think Wizard could be either of them. There's some stuff in here that look like they could be like light wizards or whatever. Anyway, I don't think that it has to be connected. And so what you could see is that all 8 classes are in these 307 cards that add the light and the dark balance. And that becomes like a mechanic that you have to use. And that's this last back, is that all decks, in order to have power level, like in order to compete now, will need to focus on the light and the dark. Like it's going to be a game breaking thing where like, sorry, I don't want to use the word game breaking, but it's going to add to the game. I think what he said was like, it will finish the game, right? So it seems like that's going to be an essential part of Flesh and Blood. So let's go to my last thing. Is I also want to throw out there that I think that minions could be a representation of something. And I don't want to get into like a bunch of creatures on the battlefield necessarily, but maybe a mechanic like a resource type thing, right? Where you have minions. And if you look at the artwork that they're teasing, like look at all they kind of look like minions, right? Like these guys, they just don't look super, I don't know, maybe important. Like I don't look at any of these things and see like a future hero, right? Like they just look like they're not super important. It doesn't look like any of these people are being focused on or whatever. It just seems like look at these things, like they could be minions, right? Like what if there's some sort of mechanic that's like minions use resources or something like that, or generate resources or something like that, that could help you track your devotion or whatever. Maybe it's minion weapon deals damage equal to your amount of shadow minions or light minions or something like that. I don't know. I just see like these things just don't look that important, right? But they look like they add something to it. So that was just another thought that I had. Anyway, that was my game-changing mechanic theory. Obviously, there's a high percentage risk that this is wrong, and that really where we land is this kind of like easy, more players. Like the reason for the huge print run is that more players in the first edition issues and the huge expectation. But another reason for this huge print run could be that because it's so generic focused and going to be such an important play and an important element to playing all 8 of the original classes. So if this theory is true, I don't think we'll see a focus on like the draft supported heroes and the classes. I think that we will see that draft support is going to be the regular heroes, everything you remember, like your regular game. So just a theory. Again, I just thought it was fun to talk about, and I just wanted to share it because I'm hearing from multiple people who talk to distributors that Monarch Unlimited is going to have a huge print run. Cool. Good talk. That was a lot of fun. Hey, remember to be kind to the people around you.